County Commissioner Monique Baker McCormick, and I'm calling the Special Committee on Senior and Veterans Affairs to order. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Knizak.
Here.
Commissioner Hattis. Oh, he went to go get coffee.
He went to get
some water or something.
Commissioner Baydoun.
Here.
Commissioner Scott.
Present.
Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
All right. And we know Hattis is here. He was, okay. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Next item.
C, approval of the minutes from June 4th, 2020 meeting.
Scott, so moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next item.
Item D1, under new business, a discussion with Keenan Lumpkin, Veteran Outreach Program Specialist for the Great Vet Center regarding resources and services offered to veterans.
Okay,
Excuse me,
we're
Madam
going
Chair,
to.
I'm here. I don't know if the roll call.
Yes, we knew you were here, so.
Thank you.
We'll move to item D2 first, and then we'll come back to D1.
Item 2, a discussion with Matt Garris of the Airport Freedom Center regarding resources and services offered to veterans.
Mr. Garris, thank you so much for being patient. I know we were supposed to start at 12 o'clock, so I really do apologize. Our meeting today ran longer than usual, and I really appreciate you being patient. So now you have the floor.
Well, no problem waiting. Thank you for having me and inviting me for this. I won't lie, this is not my strong point talking. Usually I get our CEO to talk, but they're in the process right now of getting a new executive director, so I didn't want to bother them.
Who's your CEO?
Patrick Colbeck,
Okay.
used to be state senator.
Oh, okay.
Right now, I think he's slated to leave on the 15th, I believe. And our new executive director officially hasn't been announced. So,
Okay.
but so the Freedom Center, I'm the operations coordinator out at DTW for both terminals. We have a lounge into each of those. And we just opened up on the 8th of June again, after about almost 3 months of being off. And then we also have 2 at other locations that are for the new recruits when they're joining the military. So what we have at the airport is 2 lounges available for all veterans, their family members, as well as foreign veterans from other countries that are traveling through as well. It's a place that, you know, when they're sitting here with a layover, they can come relax in our lounge. We have food, basically, you know, snacks and Hot Pockets and cheese, food items donated by vendors throughout the airport as well. Beverages, water and stuff like that. So they can come in, relax, not have to pay, you know, $4 for a bottle of water. It's all complimentary to them. Our volunteers, we have roughly 200 of them that staff this. The lounges, normally it's from 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night. Right now we're running from about 6 to 4 because of the flight schedules and travel capacity not really being there. Plus, A lot of our volunteers are older, so a lot of them aren't coming in still because of COVID. Yeah, told you this wasn't my strong point.
You're doing fine.
Um,
You're talking to friends.
so,
Are you a veteran?
yes, ma'am. I'm retired from the Army. I did just over 14 years before I got medically retired for my shoulder.
Thank you for your
So,
service.
thank you. So this was kind of just a story with this. The Freedom Center's been around since 11/11. So going on 9 years this year. We have served over 700,000 guests between all of our centers. Generally at the McNamara terminal, we do about 5,000 to 6,000 a month when travel's normal. In the North Terminal, we do about 3,500 to 4,500 a month. So we see quite a bit of guests come through. The airport's great with everything with the support that we receive, and we get announcements made. But I think what a lot of veterans that come through that I catch that makes them happy is because there's no USO here. That's why they found the Freedom Center. USOs at other major airports like Atlanta, Chicago, and stuff, their main focus is active duty veterans, just active duty. Retirees can get in sometimes, but a veteran that say did 3 or 4 years, got out from service, generally 99% of the time would get turned away at a USO. So when they see the Freedom Center and find out they're allowed in, their faces kind of light up in excitement, which me being, retired and stuff, I understand, when you're traveling, even a simple cup of coffee, because like right now our lounge area is closed. It's just basically I have volunteers down the hall here that have a table at the door where the guests can get a coffee, a cold beverage, or a snack, and they'd have to go throughout the terminal to sit down and relax for right now. But just being able to place, to put their feet up for a couple hours while they wait for their next flight, they're excited, which in turn makes me happy to do what I do here with the center, and our volunteers, they love it as well. Other services, that as far as that is, if their flight gets canceled, sometimes we can reach out to a local hotel around the airport, and they'll usually comp a room for the Freedom Center so we can send the guest there. The guest doesn't have to pay out of pocket because they got stuck for a night over here. And then sometimes, even though technology is making them outdated, we get stuff like phone cards for troops, which are great when they travel overseas as a nice little safety net if they lose their phone or something. But other than that, we're all donation based. We rely, obviously, COVID, I won't lie, probably hurt us more than I know at my level. I know we have a golf outing on the 31st of this month in Canton. That is, they're always looking for golfers to come or sponsors. That could play a big role in how we get funds, because a lot of companies right now obviously are hurting for money, so we may not see some of that money coming to us for a little while still. So.
Okay, great. Now you said you had 2 other locations.
Yes, we have the MEPS military entry processing stations. We have a small one in Troy, office or little place inside the MEPS there, in Lansing as well. That's for all basically the new recruits families when they come in, where they're a little smaller, they get like coffee or something while they wait to see their their kids or whoever sign, do their oath of enlistment. Those ones right now are still closed because MEPCOM, their command, hasn't allowed them to open yet for us. The recruits obviously are still going, but.
Okay. Well, I have visited the Freedom Center. It's a wonderful place. When I'm waiting on a plane, like you said, you can stop in and you can grab something to munch on. Everybody's really friendly. So I really appreciate what you guys do. And I thought it would be important for us to know the resources that you have there. So that we can make sure other veterans know that you're right in the airport, accessible, and it's a relaxing place. I see you're there now.
Yes, ma'am.
But I can't see because it's a lounging area, it's a TV in there. You can't see all of that from what we're looking at, but it is a very nice space, and I try to donate when I can. There's a box outside of the door that you can put a donation in, or of course you can always just write a check. What was interesting to me is that the food locations in vendors and stores within the airport donate as well. Can you talk about what you get from them and how that works?
So some of the vendors, I should say, when things go back to normal, Plum Market in the McNamara terminal, also now Zingerman's because they're in the North terminal. Basically the pastries that they have left over at the end of the night, they will donate to us so we can have them for our guests, muffins and stuff like that. At the McNamara terminal, Plum Market also, when breakfast time is over and they have all their breakfast burritos left over, our volunteers will go down and pick them up at a certain time. So we have an assortment of breakfast burritos. Leo's Coney Island donates some sandwiches after breakfast is done as well. Plum Market, Papa Joe's, they donate, not Plum Market, I'm sorry, Potbellies. They donate like their leftover eggs and sausage. Papa Joe's, they donate anything from their sushi to salads to pizza bagels, basically anything that, and fruit cups, anything that comes near the date of their sell-by date where they're still good, but they can't sell them. But we could probably get away with an extra day or two before they actually go bad. They donate those items. Delta obviously sponsor, gives us quite a bit. They sponsor right now, because our lounge is closed, they come and do the misting, sanitizing on their dime. They come once a week. When the lounge is open, they'll come basically as frequent as we need them to come and sanitize, make sure everything's clean. Everyone out here is great. Obviously, Wayne County Airport Authority, they play a big role because I know our rent is not much more than pocket change probably. But they support us great. Chad Newton out here, the CEO, is wonderful. Yeah, and then the stores also, I forgot. Most of our candy, if you come through and see the candy, and even if you see a Coke, all the stores, that like a lot of Parodies and Delaware North, I believe, run, they all take donations. So when you go in and say any guest in the airport go in and buy a beverage or something, a lot of the cashiers will ask if they'd like to purchase an item to donate to us. So when they acquire enough items, they bring them down to us, which in turn lets us put them out for the guest so they can get their cavities and everything. So.
Well, thank you. So I'll take any
Madam
questions from, yes, from the members. Commissioner Scott, go right ahead.
Thank you, thank you. My hand doesn't seem to work, so thank you. Thank you, Mr. Garrison. Thank you for your service. As many times as I've been to the airport, I did not know that this was available to the veterans in that. So where are you located at the McNamara terminal?
McNamara, we're right next to gate A43. So once you come through the center and everything opens up, you just go to the right. Gate A43 is like right there, right where their help desk is as well. So we're down a little hallway, so you kind of gotta see. We're kind of, it's not as visible if you're not looking just to your right side as you're walking.
Okay, and you're also in the north terminal. Where are you there?
Yes, ma'am. It's gate D17.
D17.
That one's a little more visible because that's a newer one, so they kind of learned from the original at the McNamara. So that one's got a big glass front, so it stands out a little bit more.
Okay, thank you so much. That's really great. All right, next time I'm there, I'll come in and leave a donation.
Wonderful.
If we ever get through with this COVID. All right, well, thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott.
Mhm.
Any other questions from any of the board members? No questions? All right, well, thank you so much for, again, having the patience to wait and provide the information that I think is so dearly needed. I think sometimes we don't have the information so that we can share it, and this is what this is all about. It's sharing the information so that we can help your organization grow and stay strong, especially during times like this. Did you have any questions of us before you leave?
You know, I really don't. I can try to line up some information. I know our website, mifreedomcenter.org, has quite a bit, to include probably a video my CEO might have uploaded with about the centers. So
That would be great. If you can send it to Sherelle, can you get his information? Or actually, Julian, you have it, right?
I do. I've got it.
Okay. So if you can
So-
send it to Mr. Rainwater, and then he will forward the information to all of the commissioners, and as well as your golf outing.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe that's something one of the commissioners might want to attend. Mhm.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you again. All right, our next item.
I see we have Cannon back on the line. Did you want to go back to one or continue with the rest?
Oh, yes, we can. We can go back to him. Oops.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Yeah,
how are
everybody
you?
Hi.
This is Mr. Lumpkin. He's with the Veterans Outreach Program. He's a Veteran Outreach Program Specialist with the VA. Go right ahead, and thank you again for being patient and waiting and chiming back in with us. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Can't hear you now, though. What happened? Oh, wow. What happened?
No, I just had to unmute myself.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. How's everybody doing today?
Wonderful. How are
Good,
you?
wonderful.
All right. So I'm glad to be back on here. I'm glad I can be on here because then that means my daughter is doing good and I didn't have to cancel. But as stated before by Commissioner McCormick Baker, my name is Keenan Lumpkin. I'm a Veteran Outreach Program Specialist at the Detroit Vet Center. And I'm going to get right into the presentation. And if we just go to the next slide. And then if you click down at the bottom right where there's a zoom thing, you can do the slideshow thing. Nope, to left, right next to the minus sign. So at the bottom.
When I do the slideshow, it doesn't pop up on the screen. That's why I have it like this.
Oh, okay. All right, that works. All right, so just, hopefully by the time I'm done, you guys can get a good understanding of what the Vet Center does. Hopefully you guys will be able to describe the Vet Center to anybody you guys come into contact with, or explain the differences, or even identify some of the best practices when it comes to how we work with the VA and some of the outpatient plans. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, a quick question. How many people are familiar with the VA hospital? I mean, not with the VA hospital, with the Vet Center.
I'm not.
Okay, so you're not familiar. Okay. So, so that was a quick question. Just wanted to get a quick feel of how familiar we are. So if you guys just scroll down to slide 7. Okay, so what is the Vet Center program? Real quick, the Vet Center program is readjustment counseling services. We're part of the VA, and we have about 8 facilities in Michigan as a whole. We have facilities in Wayne, so Detroit, we cover mostly Wayne County. And then you have the Dearborn Vet Center. They cover more South Wayne County and like Washtenaw County and a little bit further beyond. And then you have the Saginaw Vet Center, and you have Traverse City. You have the Pontiac Vet Center also. So we have facilities all over. And so one good thing about us at the Vet Center is all the services that we provide are no cost to veterans. So they don't have to worry about receiving a bill from any type of insurance or anything. It's all at no cost to the veteran. So we have no co-pays, but we also don't do travel pay also. And then so some of the things that we do at the Vet Center is we do individual counseling, we do group, we do couples counseling, and then we also do family therapy also. And then along with, we refer different veterans to different resources in the community. For instance, with me being outreach, I'm in contact with a lot of veteran resources. So my job as outreach is to connect the veterans to different resources in the community. So that's why I like to go out to the community, be hands-on. And a lot of the resources that I refer veterans to, I actually use them myself because I am a veteran. A lot of the resources I refer veterans to, I've already vetted. And then so I know that they work. I know that, these are people that we can count on. And, one of those are like Wayne County Veteran Services, some of the people that we refer to. So we started off as a peer counseling program. And then we kind of later evolved to the clinically licensed aspect. And one big difference between us and the big VA is no one can see our records. All our records are confidential. So whether the veteran is a reservist, or they're active duty, or they're just a veteran, no one has permission to see our records unless the veteran gives them permission to see it. Am I going too fast, or is everybody tracking?
Yes, you're doing fine.
Okay. All right, so if we could just skip down to slide number 10. I'm going through this a little quickly. Just in a real quick brief history before we get to the us versus them. Again, we started off as a peer counseling program. Then we advanced to more a clinical side of things. And so we can see anyone from, it doesn't matter what era they were in, from World War II to now. One of the eligibilities for our program, which we'll get into a little bit later, is they have to be a combat veteran. However, and I don't want to jump ahead of myself, so I'm gonna go with the us versus them. One of the things that separate us from the big VA was, as we mentioned before, is we're completely separate from the VA hospital. While we're part of the VA, we're not part of the VA hospital, meaning they can't see our records. We do collaborate with the VA hospital, but we are not the same program. Our program is a little bit more relaxed. We focus only on mental health counseling. I like to say we're kind of like the special forces of the VA, where our specialty is that's our specialty, mental health and connecting veterans to different resources in the community. That's all we do, that's all we focus on. And our facilities are a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more of a family atmosphere, where you don't have to worry about the big VA where you're going to this big building and it's a really small family-like atmosphere when you come into our facilities. We also do different socioeconomic events, whether it's going to a Pistons game or something like that, or for instance, we'll do a golf outing for the veterans, or we'll go to play tennis somewhere. Whatever helps the veteran in adjusting to military life, adjusting or transitioning from military life to civilian life, we try to assist with that. And again, it's at no cost to the veterans. So whatever we do or whatever we bring up, it's at no cost to the veterans, so they don't have to worry about receiving a bill from us or anything like that. Another one of the programs that we have is like Guitar for Vets. And then so what we do in that program is veterans, they come to our facility and they're taught how to use the guitar at no cost to them. Again, they get about 10 sessions. It doesn't matter their level, whether they're a beginner or whether they're advanced. They can do that, and then at the end of the program, they actually get a free guitar. So they give them all the tools that they need, again, to embark upon that program. So it's a great program, that we have here. This is one of the many programs that we have. So if we go down to slide 12. All right, so who's eligible for Vet Center services? So anybody that served in a combat theater in an area of hostility are eligible to be seen by us. Anybody that experienced a sexual trauma, anyone that has direct connection to mental health or mortuary services, or they work as a drone pilot, they're eligible for our services. Active duty service members and members of the National Guard and Reserve that meet the above criteria are, again, eligible for our services. And another good thing that separates us from the VA is we're able to see parents, spouses, and their children of the armed service members. So if the veteran is alive, then we can see the parent or we can see the family member while they're alive here at the facility. However, if there's a suicide that may take place, we can still see that family in regards to the suicide. But they have to be on, normally they have to be on active duty for us to see them if they committed suicide for bereavement counseling. Active duty or reserve or National Guard. Normally if they're a veteran already, we still see them because we don't really turn anybody away. We'll see them, we'll see anybody, and then we'll try to refer them if need be to any outside resource. If we can go, and one more thing that separates us from the VA is it doesn't matter what the discharge is, we can see the veteran. So if they're dishonorably discharged, if they're other than honorably discharged, it doesn't matter. As long as they meet the eligibility criteria as far as they served in a combat theater or an area of hostility or sexual trauma or work with drone pilots, we can see the veteran. And again, even though that's the eligibility crisis, we still can see veterans even if they don't meet that criteria. We don't turn veterans away. A lot of times what we do is we'll see them and we'll kind of try to point them in the right direction and help them get to where they need to. Whatever that need may be, whether it's they're looking for a job or they're trying to connect to some resources in the community. That's what I'm here to do. So we don't turn anybody away. We try to help them out, as much as we can and connect them to the benefits within the community. All right, we can go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so why should you refer somebody to the vet center? Oftentimes we have same day access. Again, we don't have a big clientele where we have a long wait list. So you can definitely come to us. So even frequently, when a veteran's seen, it's seen according to their schedule. So if they want to be seen twice a week, if that's needed, they could be seen twice a week. And there's no limit to how many sessions they can have. So that's another thing that kind of separates us from the VA hospital, is while the VA hospital may have, like, you can only be seen for 12 sessions or something like that, at the VA, at the vet center, it's unlimited. We have people that's been going here for 6 years just because even after they achieve their stable point, or their point where they're able to function at a stable manner, they have a sense of even wanting to give back. So they stay there and they kind of encourage all the other veterans that come through. So, that's another unique thing about the vet center. So right now, as far as counseling wise, we do a lot of VA Video Connect calls. We also use WebEx or Cisco WebEx. So it's right now we have seen people here, but we just try to do it on a limited basis, just to keep the veterans safe. So we're not holding any groups or anything right now at the facility. But once this COVID thing will lift, or I don't know, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID, but once everything happens, then we'll definitely move forward in that aspect. One thing that I did not mention is we actually also have community access points also. So we actually go out into the community. We have this thing called an MVC, which is a mobile vet center, and it's like an office on wheels. So we can take this vehicle anywhere in the community. And so a lot of times we can use this to go out to community and talk to veterans also, or see veterans, or bring counseling out to them. So not only do we have the regular buildings, but we have the MVC where we have access to internet, we can access the medical records, all that stuff. So everything that we can do in the facility, we can also do on the actual MVC also. So we're not limited just to the building. We can go all throughout the community. And a lot of times we go to different events with the MVC out there. I don't know if anybody has seen it out there in the community, but that's one of the things we use it for. It could be used as a cooling station. A lot of times people use it as a billboard. As long as it's not an election year and it's not there for election purposes and for veterans, we can take it out there to, to different events and stuff. So, all right, we can go ahead and scroll down to scroll. So number 16. All right, so this is the mobile vet center. This is what it looks like on the inside, just a little small picture of what it looks like. So we have about 2 different sizes. We have a Winnebago style one, and then we have a small one that's more size of, I would say like a large U-Haul. That's kind of like the size of it. But again, like I said, we can use it in the community. We can use it at any base, any type of facility. And so while I've been saying that we're separate from the VA, we still work in conjunction with the VA and many other services. A lot of times we coordinate care. So if a veteran is being seen at the VA hospital, but again, the veteran still has to give us that permission to share the information with the VA hospital. We don't just say, oh, you go to the VA, we're going to give you information. No, that's not how it works. So we take privacy really important when we talk to our veterans. And we just try to stick to that. All right, and if we can scroll down, I'll say the number 20. Number 20. All right, so what happens if you refer a veteran to the vet center? We screen them for eligibility. We have an intake appointment right away, and we check as far as lethality wise, and we set them up with an appointment. Most of the time, the veterans are seen for first 5 sessions. That's where we kind of get the intake process taken care of, where you get the documentation, you get the history and all that stuff. And once all that stuff is done, we either see them at our facility or we just work out the best plan to actually really take care of that veteran, whether it's get them out to the community or whether it's bring their family in to help the family understand what it's like for that veteran to have PTSD. Whatever the veteran needs or whatever the veteran desires in regards to care, we try to meet that need where the veteran is. And we can go ahead and scroll down just to the contact. And I did roll through this pretty fast. This is my email right here. And this is our national website. And I can actually give you my work number also. If you have a pen, my number is 313-822-1141. And if you have any questions or any concerns or anything, feel free to give me a call, or if you even got a question about a veteran. Like I said, we definitely here, to help our veterans. Like I said, my heart is to serve our veterans and to, really help them through this process of transitioning through the military, because oftentimes when you discharge out the military, you don't know a lot of these things. I know I didn't know even about the Vet Center until I started working for them. So we just try to connect them to different resources in the community, whether it's through Detroit, Wayne County Veteran Services, or whether it's through Michigan Works. So we try to connect them to, like I said, just whatever resources there, we try to connect as many out there. So the veteran can have the smoothest transition that they can have. But does anybody have any questions for me?
Madam the Chair,
Commissioners,
Where you,
yes.
okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, who,
Commissioner Harris.
Haddis? Okay,
Yes. Got it, Nick.
go right ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Lupkin, can you repeat your phone number first?
Okay. My phone number is 313-822-1141.
Okay, thank you. I enjoy your presentation, and I really, you don't know how much I appreciate probably you, the least organization or group have a less red tape than any other. You're making it so easy for our veterans, because in my political career, I heard many veterans and they shy away from help because of the difficulty they have, the question, the privacy. And today you show me there's some organization that address all those issues. And I could tell you, I'm so proud to hear today to tell you I finally see something that address all the difficulty the veterans face in the past 20, 30 years, whatever it is. So I really wish you well, and you have my great support to your organization. And I hope to hear some success story about the veteran, because we heard enough painful story in the past. And now I really want to commend you and thank you for your great system, how to deal with the veteran. It's so difficult sometimes for somebody who doesn't have a transportation, doesn't have the knowledge on what's going on, and you take it to them if they can't come to you. That it's beautiful, and it should be noted is what you do in eliminating the red tape and try to reach out to them when they can't reach out to you. So thank you for that great service.
Yeah, I appreciate those words. And I think the biggest thing is trying to make sure that transition is as smooth as possible. So because it is overwhelming, even for myself, for me working in the VA, it's still overwhelming for me. And I know a lot of information, but I'm constantly learning stuff. So, and that's the goal, is to give out as much knowledge as we can. And when I speak to a lot of veterans, I speak from a veteran's point of view first versus the VA. So that's the biggest thing we try to do. And one thing I did not mention too, is we actually have the VBA that comes to our facility also, not just our facility, but even the Dearborn Vet Center and different vet centers. We have the VBA that comes to our facility and can actually help them spell out. Like, so say for instance, if a veteran has, well, before COVID, we had VBA come here. So now it's a little bit more difficult, but what having VBA comes out, and they said they're still open to doing Zoom calls with a lot of veterans. What they do is they actually try to help explain to them where they're at in the process when it comes to actually putting in their claim. So like say for instance, I had in the claim, I put in the claim for just say blood pressure. They can actually look at the claim, say where they're at in that process and what they need, what their next steps is. And it's not your generic answer like wait till 6 months or nothing like that. They're actually able to look in detail and let you know where the process is. So they did say they're open to Zoom calls. So again, like I said, if you have any veterans that are looking to understand their process of where they're at, we can definitely set that up also.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you, to you, Mr. Lumpkin, and to the chair for having this presentation. It gives us a lot of educational way to know what's going on and what's available to the veteran, and it's a great move. And thank you to you and the chair for serving too. You both veteran. Thank you for your services. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hattis. Commissioner Scott.
Oh, thank you so much. Boy, we're learning a lot today. Thank you, Mr. Keenan Lumpkin. I hadn't heard of you before. So I'm grateful. I've taken your number and email down, and I'm going to be sharing it. But where are you located? Where are you housed at?
So we're at 11214 East Jefferson Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. So we're on the east side, deep east. But again, we could travel anywhere.
Okay, 11214
Yes, ma'am.
Jefferson.
East Jefferson Avenue.
East Jefferson.
Right in that plaza, right where Parkway Foods is.
Oh, okay, you're in that plaza. All right. Well, very good. Thank you, and thank you for all the information that you have given to us today. I had not heard of you, so I'm grateful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Any other questions or from any of the other commissioners? Any questions? Well, thank you again, Mr. Lumpkin, for attending our meeting today and providing all of the valuable information. You know, for us, it's really about learning more about different organizations so we can bring back the resources to our community. So thank you again, and I will be in touch with you very soon because I have an event that I would like to talk to you about. So okay. Thank you so much again for your patience, and I'm glad your daughter is doing okay.
Yes, appreciate it. And just one more thing too, we're actually doing a care package event for veterans on August 15th.
Oh, okay.
Where we'll be giving out care packages to veterans in the community. And then we also have some dry good boxes too. So, you know, if you guys want to spread the word about that, or I'll try to see if I get an email out.
Yes, if you can, that would be great. If you can send it to Mr. Rainwater, you should have his information.
Okay.
And then he can get it to all of us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
All right. You have a blessed
Enjoy the holiday.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Madam Clerk, we can move to the next item.
3, an update from Kwesi Betsarai, Director of the Division of Veteran Services.
All right, let's see if this thing's gonna work. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Well, right ahead. Thank you so much for being patient as well.
All right. I had to run out. So, excuse me. So a couple things. I was aware of the Freedom Center at the airport. A lot of the major airports have a similar location, or it's a USO or something like that, which always works out for veterans and their families when they're traveling. So that was great to have that information on this call. And then also for Keenan and the Detroit Vet Center, Wayne County Veteran Services, we actually publish their information on the back of our brochures. so we can push veterans to that location. And so they do a lot of good work for the community. So I just want to thank you for having him on there. It shows, Commissioner Baker McCormick, that you're really in tune with the veteran community, because those are hidden gems. Most people don't know anything about those services. But you found him. I'm glad I was able to see him. I haven't seen him in a while too, so that was great. So just a couple things about what we're doing now in veteran services. So we just received our first shipment of $50,000 in food vouchers from the County Veteran Service Fund. And so we're able to give out those food vouchers to those peacetime veterans in Wayne County now. We've been bombarded with a lot of phone calls, a lot of interest on how veterans can get those food coupons and food vouchers to feed their families. So my staff is taking the calls and sending some of the vouchers out via mail. And we've also opened ourselves up to set up appointments for those people who prefer to just come down to our office and pick them up. So that's good news right there. In addition, we're just ready to start helping more veterans with this peacetime grant that we were just awarded. So that's what's happening with us in those areas right there. What else have we been doing? You know, a lot of times the veterans don't need money, and sometimes they need food. Sometimes they just need to know people care about them. So what we've been doing is facilitating food drops through Gleaners Food Baskets along with American Legion. So as I said before, we've done one in Wyandotte, and we just completed one in Detroit at Temple and Woodward, next to, I believe it's the Wayne State University Business School or something like that, but right downtown. We just completed that Monday. And when we do that, we make sure we put all of our information, our flyers out to the community. Whoever picks up a basket or two, we make sure they get our information so we can get that information pushed out to the community. So we've been doing efforts like that across Wayne County. And also we're focused on enhancing the division's awareness and visibility during COVID-19. Again, what I'm learning in this job, there's quite a few citizens who are unaware of our services. And so again, my goal is to make sure I push it out through the electronic means, which is through emails, and making sure that when there's an invite to do a virtual town hall or virtual call, I make sure I get on those calls to tell everybody about our services. And we've also pushed that information out to our area churches with the goal of them providing that information to all of their church members. So I can tell you those efforts have paid some dividends. I know I mentioned in the past that we sent some information through Meals on Wheels. Well, those efforts have yielded quite a few phone calls as well. Actually, Commissioner Vargas, she posted on her, I believe it's her newsletter, that we're giving away the food vouchers. That has drummed up a significant amount of phone calls to our office. So my point is every little bit helps, right? I found there's not one set method to get the word out about veteran services. And so I have to be really creative in this COVID-19 period right now. Heretofore, we would always go out to speak, and that yielded some results. Now we have to find different ways to get our word out there so we can help our veterans in Wayne County. So I'm excited about that, but also challenged in this opportunity-rich environment. And so those are the things I just want to just touch upon lightly. I didn't want to take an awful lot of time, but just know that we're still engaged and trying to help our veterans in so many ways, either through the food vouchers or making sure we get their bills paid. We've had, weekly we get a lot of burial requests for some assistance. And I cannot say that they're tied to COVID-19, but it's just the general passing of time and members, of veteran members. But we have a significant amount of business generated by burials in our office. It is our expectation that when the governor decides that landlords can begin evictions, we will see a rush of clients coming to our office for assistance with that, as well as for the utility bills. In the past, that has been something that was constant, but we're not seeing as much traffic, and partially because they're protected right now. So we do expect to see a flood of that in the next month or so, whenever some of those restrictions are loosened. So, but that's essentially what I wanted to update the committee on today, and I'll take any questions.
Great. Well, thank you, Mr. Betsarai. Just a clarification on the food vouchers,
Mhm.
is there a certain amount per veteran that or family that you're giving out, and what's the process?
Well, the process, they have to call, of course, call our office,
Mhm.
and then we'll take their information, and we would like to try to follow some of our same policies that we apply to Soldier Sailor Relief. And those policies pertain to roughly $150 per person. And then it can go up to maybe $450. I don't have the policy in front of me, but up to $450 for family with those vouchers. So we realize $150 is usually not sufficient for a family. So we will follow our policies. I believe it goes up to $450
Oh,
for
that's
a
great.
4-person family.
Mhm.
That could
Okay.
give you a lot of food.
Oh yeah, that's great. I didn't think it was that much, but that's wonderful.
Madam
And
Chair?
so far, how many or how far are we into the 50,000 budget?
We're not that far. We just received them last week. They just came in the mail last week. Once the county commission approved it, then they put the vouchers in the mail. We just received them last week. We took accountability. I counted each one myself to make sure they were all there. And
Okay.
now my team has them, so they're just pushing them out. So I had a phone call prior to this call, but I don't know how many he sent out with the amount, but it's nothing significant as of today.
So we have most of it still left. That's what
The
you're
better
saying.
part, yeah, I would say
Okay.
yes.
And is there a time limit that we have to spend the
Yes,
funds? Okay. Well, what was
September
that? I
30th.
know-
September
sorry.
30th.
September 30th.
Okay.
September 30th, 2020.
All right.
And so-
But you're saying that the phone calls are like picking up, and so
They are.
okay,
They
good,
are.
good.
They are. Part of that is that the state of Michigan Veteran Affairs Agency, they're publishing that through emails, and they're telling all of the folks on the email roster that we have these monies.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. So we're getting a lot more information put out there on this matter.
Okay, and do you have something that you're sending out about the food voucher? I know you sent me a very nice, well put together flyer that talks to some of the overall programs, but do you have one that just talks to that food voucher program?
Not right now, not today, but I plan on developing one of those, but also placing it on our website, right? So we
Okay.
have a couple ways to get that information out through emails, and emails you hope people open it. So I think we'd have more success if it's published on our website as well.
Okay, so if you get that flyer, can you get that to us so that we can also help to get the information out?
Yes, ma'am, I will do that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Bessariah. Where can they use the food vouchers at?
It's only at Myers. Those gift cards
Only
are
at
for Myers.
Myers.
It looks like a food coupon that you would get in the newspaper, but it has information on what it says Wayne County, and it says exactly where they can, what goods they can use. And we send a memo out to the client to let them know what they can purchase. And pet food is one of them, because if a veteran has a pet, well, they still want to provide food for that pet. But there's
Also-
limitations on what they can spend those monies on. And when they turn in that food voucher, they do not get any cash back. So they either use
Okay.
that $100 amount of that voucher, or they don't get anything back.
So whatever they sell at Myers, you can use it, or is it just for food alone?
There's food and some cleaning supplies and some pet food as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Madam
you.
Chair, you got a good program today.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Haddis, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you. It's a good day to
Amen.
know we're doing way better for the veterans than the past. I've been watching that and involved in some of those problems the veteran have in my community for last 27 years. But today I heard a lot of good news. I have one question. You said the phone started ringing now after the veteran find out about the program.
Yes, sir.
I have one concern is how efficient our phone system, because many times the people try to call and the line is busy or nobody answer. What's the time frame from somebody call and leave message to be called back or you don't call back?
Couple things. So they should call normal business hours, 8 to 4:30. And so as it stands right now, my team, they have 2 iPhones. So those calls are with them around the clock. So they usually call them back within the next day. So I have not had anybody tell me that they have a long wait or they've been trying to reach my department, but that could happen. But so far, that phone system that we have has been sufficient. So we have not been overwhelmed such that we need to redirect those calls yet. But we usually call them back in a small amount of time. But I'll tell you again, a lot of veterans, when they call, I think a lot of them are used to having a face-to-face conversation in the meeting. And so a lot of times they will not exercise the patience to wait or to call back either. So that is one of those challenges that we face when conducting business for veterans.
Well, thank you. Again, Madam the Chair, I want to tell you for last year or so, we came far with enhancing the service and the communication with the veteran. And I'm very proud of what Wayne County offering so far. So with the new leadership and the fresh, I hope we'll continue to improve that.
I agree.
Oh, we will. I'm committed. I'm passionate about my brother and sister veterans. So I just want to get the word out there. There's roughly 83,000 veterans. And again, not all of us veterans need that assistance, but it's nice to know that it's there. Should something change, that's what's important. And actually, let me go back. The last call we had, there was a couple females on the line, and there was one lady who had something at the Piquet Square, and I brought some items for her event as well, and that was a nice event. So so those small requests, we try to action those as well, and if not, we try to partner them with somebody, whatever our veteran resource community is. So I take those calls, large or small, and then we try to action them.
Well, thank you for your service before, and thank you for your present service. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Madam the Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Haddis. Any other questions from the other commissioners? No other questions. Well, thank you, Mr. Betsarai, again, for all that you're doing. And we look forward to getting the flyer or one-pager that you'll put together for us so that we can make sure we push that information out.
I'll do that. Thanks so much for all your help.
Yeah, but thanks. You're doing a wonderful job.
All right. Go Army.
All right.
Yeah,
next
especially
item.
now I have a nephew in West Point. He's playing football for the Army, and that gives us the hope to beat the Navy.
Oh, wow. All right.
That's good.
That's the plan.
All right. Take care.
Excellent.
Hoorah.
Cool.
Okay. Next item.
Or a discussion and PowerPoint presentation from Lisa Whitmore Davis, Director of the Department of Senior Services.
With Miss Whitmore Davis, welcome. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
I like your background, your backdrop. That's so nice.
Thank you. I love the clouds.
Yes.
I want to thank all of the commissioners and the entire task force for the opportunity today to bring you an update from our Senior Services Department, and to also give you a brief version of the presentation that was presented earlier this, last month. It's unbelievable, we're in July already, to our, in our virtual continuing senior education CSE series that we're engaging in. So we'll start first with the PowerPoint, and then I will give you some up-to-date data regarding our Meals on Wheels program after this presentation. So Wayne County Senior Services Department, in partnership with Wayne State University Institute of Gerontology, prior to COVID, you can advance to the next slide, please. Prior to COVID, we had established a partnership in late 2019 to support the department's efforts to connect Wayne County older adults with information and educational resources internally from our sister and brother departments, as well as externally with great partners like, pardon me, like Wayne State University. We started in February and in March having the Continuing Senior Education Series at our congregate meal sites. And we had one in Belleville, we had one in Romulus, we had them scheduled at other sites around the county. But then on March 13th, you all know what happened. We went into our furlough and into our sheltering in place. So the value of having this type of educational opportunity for our older adults are two-pronged. We wanted to make sure that older adults receive valuable information and also break down isolation. There's two forms of isolation. There's isolation from people and then isolation from information. And now in this COVID environment, older adults don't have the opportunity to go to the senior center or venture out to other community meetings that they would normally go to. And so in talking with our colleagues over at Wayne State, I said, how can we recalibrate our presentation to bring it to where older adults are, but also taking in consideration many older adults, some use Zoom like we have today and some don't. So we had to make sure that it was provided in a platform that if all they had was a basic phone or cell phone, they could still be connected and get this vital information. And we wanted to empower older adults with information that they could use right now in this COVID environment, because they hear so many things that aren't true. And also too, unfortunately, the criminal enterprise is utilizing and leveraging COVID-19 as another opportunity to try to take advantage of older adults. So we partnered again, like I said, with the SAFE program. And one reason that I've always liked the SAFE program, even prior to my tenure here at Wayne County, they provide an additional step where a lot of organizations provide information on how to be, not to become a victim of fraud or scams, but they take it one step further. They provide personal support through staff that is that it's a part of their grant to help older adults navigate the reporting of the crime, the repair from the crime, and the restoration of their identity if they have lost their identity due to scams or frauds or had fraudulent things done to their banking situation. So I think that's so important because if any of you have ever encountered identity theft, it can be overwhelming, all of the forms and different things that you need to do. And it's great that SAFE, through this program and grant at Wayne State University Institute of Gerontology, is able to support that older adult if they do become a victim. So you can advance to the next slide, and I'm going to go quite quickly. So this is what they saw on their screen, as well as we read it so that in case they were on the phone. And about half of the participants at our June 25th seminar, half were on Zoom and half were online on their phone. One of the ways that we reached out to them, we delivered printed flyers to all of our Meals on Wheels participants, all of the individuals who came through our drive-through congregate program, they received it. Wayne County Communications sent it out internally. It was on the Wayne County, I think it was on the webpage, but I definitely know it was on the Wayne County social media. I leveraged it on my platform. Several of you, thank you, posted it on your Facebook and social media pathways. So that was the way that we got the message out. But the title of the presentation was Protecting Yourself from COVID-19 Scams. You can advance, please. First thing, there's a scam that there's a cure, vaccination, and home testing. At this point, there is no cure for COVID-19. There is no current vaccine, and there is no FDA-approved home testing. We wanted older adults to not get hooked into that thought. And as you all are aware, that we also shared with the audience that Wayne County has partnered with Garden City Hospital, and that is one of the sites where residents of Wayne County, and anyone for that matter, can go and receive a COVID-19 test. Advance to the next slide, please. Sick relative. This is a spin off of a common fraud where they're calling their grandparent, or a relative calls you stating that they need money. Well, now the sick relative scam is, I'm a sick relative and I have COVID and I need your help. I need you to send me some money right away. That is unfortunately a scam that we're seeing now in this COVID environment. Can you go to the next slide, please? Assistance with grocery shopping and or running errands. Strangers going door to door, calling, saying that they can help you, or that they're with some organization that can help you, but they need, or they ask you for cash or use of your debit cards. They deliver the groceries or never return money. This is a scam that has been updated with the COVID twist. Many of you have maybe heard, like when there's a large storm in our area, where individuals will come around and say, well, we're cutting down branches in your neighborhood. We can come back and help you clear out your yard. And then they take the older adults' money and of course, fraudulently does something to them. So again, here's where we bring that to their attention, that if you're going to utilize some service, use known trusted organizations like Instacart, or calling your Kroger or Uber Eats, trusted and verified delivery services. You can advance to the next slide, please. Stimulus check scams. We wanted them to be aware of that. Economic impact payments that the caller claims to be the IRS, or that they're from asking for Social Security numbers, asking them to send checks and asking for overpayment funds to be returned as if they weren't supposed to receive their economic stimulus check that we received earlier, and to be aware in the event that there is a future payout that may come from the federal government. Things we wanted older adults to know. You do not pay anyone to get your stimulus money. The IRS will not tell you to deposit the check and then send them back the money. And then that they will not call you in order to process these funds, and only use irs.gov coronavirus to submit information regarding stimulus checks on that website. You can advance to the next slide, please. Charitable giving. People will play upon the kindness of older adults and the desire of older adults to want to help. And these charities oftentimes don't even exist. Some of our older adults who are online, GoFundMe's, saying I'm raising this money to help a family or to help someone who has, been had trouble due to COVID. We always recommend check out the charity first. Make sure that the charity is legitimate. And if it is a GoFundMe, someone that you know or you can talk to verify where this GoFundMe funds will go and be directed to. And never, ever rush to make a donation. That's just the There's nothing wrong with a pause to let me check and verify. You can advance to the next slide, please. Things to remember. Hang up on robocalls. If you don't know the caller, on the robocall. Don't share your social security, bank account information, any of your personal identifying information. Don't share them with individuals who may contact you if you happen to answer the phone. Don't send money to people you know. Believe it or not, you really have to share that information and reinforce not going making that mistake, and reminding them again that there is no approved FDA home test for COVID, a cure, or vaccine at this time. So we ask that recommend that they check their credit report annually, and you can go to that annualcreditreport.com and request a weekly one until April 2021. That's I think that was as a result of the CARES Act. And we ask them to always review your credit card and bank statements often. Don't wait till the end of the month. Check weekly, or if you feel you're having too much activity, you can advance to the next slide, please. And then lastly, the personalized services that I mentioned that our partner SAFE provides. The main contact is Miss Latoya Hall. She's at 313-664-2608, or her email is l.hall@wayne.edu. Ms. Hall and her staff at the SAFE program there at the Institute of Gerontology, they are conducting Zoom and telephone coaching services to help older adults address any scam or identity theft that they may have run into, and to help them unpack or unravel if they're not sure something has happened. They can help them to do that. So that was an abbreviated rapid fire version of the presentation. It took, on the 25th, we took about 45 minutes, and we had some really good questions from the audience. We had about 40 people on the line, and then we shared some time with my colleague, Mr. Betsrai, to talk about veteran issues, because we always want to, whenever we have this audience of older adults, educate them on what Wayne County government is doing for them and ways that they can engage with us for us to help them and to improve their lives. And we got some good question and feedback from Mr. Betsrai's presentation, because he had great news about peacetime availability of funds. So we were happy that he was able to join us. Our next session will take place in the month of July and August. Again, these sessions will be focused around COVID and how to, as older adults, to engage and to stay safe in COVID. Of course, we always remind them about how to engage with us if they need nutritional support. And I am complete with my PowerPoint, and I'm gonna go out myself here and go to my own docs. Any questions before I transition to the update of our department?
Thank you so much, Ms. Whitmore Davis, for that presentation. I think it was very insightful, even in its abbreviated form. And I don't know if my colleagues have any questions. I don't have any.
Just to say it was worth waiting for.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good show. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, if we can just say to the seniors, if there's money involved, it's a scam, okay?
Right. You just reminded me something, Commissioner Scott. One of the things we were happy, even though we're sad about COVID, don't get me wrong, but this program, we were able to offer it to anyone in Wayne County. We weren't defined by our serving guidelines. I even shared the flyer with my colleague Ron Taylor over at DAAA, and I said, hey, this is an opportunity for your community, the folks that you serve, to be able to participate. But also, because it was on a virtual platform, we were able to touch people who may not be able to come to a congregate site in Belleville, but live in Hamtramck, or live in Highland Park, or live in So that's the beauty of being able to provide programming in this virtual space, because now our department is not so much defined by the service areas of the 34 cities that we serve within Wayne County. With this type of information, we can touch the entire county. So that's nice, even though I would prefer COVID not to be here.
Right, but you know what? There's a blessing that comes out of that, because I've been doing my coffee hours by Zoom. I'm trying to learn how to stay on top of this stuff. So it's wonderful. So thank you.
Yes, so I want to make sure we will get the flyer to all of you earlier than this last time, so that you can share this in your area of influence and with your friends and constituents and folks that rely on you for information. So I wanted to share with you, as of the week of June 22nd, home delivered meals, we served 12,744 home delivered meals in our areas of service. And in our congregate drive-up service, again, the congregate meal program where you go and sit is, set aside due to COVID, but our drive-up participants, that we served 975 meals during the week of June 22nd. We do not have the week's totals for this week, but we will, if any of you ever want to receive that, you can always reach out to me and I'll be happy to share that with you. We report this information to ASA at the state of Michigan around how many people we are serving in a weekly basis. We've seen an increase every week steadily due to the new, as a result of CARES, anyone over the age of 60 can participate in home delivered meals or the congregate meal program if they choose to do so, whether they have a medical condition or not, or a varying level of ability. So we're really excited that people are reaching out to us and we're able to help them. And again, these are very robust numbers and we're doing our very best. Our volunteers, the commitment of our volunteers has just been outstanding. Because they are on the front line. People don't see them as frontline or essential workers, but they really are, because they go out into the community and go up to people's homes once a week because of COVID, but still once a week providing nutritional support that is necessary. And in closing, we always notify our home delivered and congregate meal participants around any food giveaways that our colleagues, that Mr. Evans and the administration that we are engaged in, and also any information around like when we were having the COVID testing sites at Westland and Ecorse, but now of course educating everyone about the site at Garden City Hospital. But always happy to join the task force, and thank you for the opportunity to share this information, and thank you for your support and all that you do for older adults in Wayne County.
And thank you, Ms. Whitmore Davis, again, for all that you're doing. The July event that you're having, the Safe program, I believe you said it was in July, or?
No, it will be in July, but it won't be all about SAFE. It won't be about scams. We're going to talk about ways to maintain and protect your health during COVID. Hoping to secure, I don't want to share the date yet because I'm still trying to finalize the speakers, pardon me, the speakers availability, but it'll be later in the month in July. Like we had this one on June 25th. It'll be later in the month where we'll have a presentation of virtual continuing ed, continuing senior education opportunity, where older adults who choose to join us will hear about how to maintain their health. And we'd like to engage even in some healthy movement, like some chair exercises. And of course, Mr. Betzerai has already committed that he will always give a veterans check-in at all of our virtual opportunities that we host.
Okay.
Great. So you will provide us with maybe a one-pager so we can share it with our communities. That would be great.
Yes.
And again, thank you so much. Did any of the other commissioners have any questions?
Well, I want to say thank you, Ms. Whitmore Davis. You complete the day because Mr. Lumpkin and Petzerai and you today bring a lot of good news and a lot of good educational crime prevention, which a lot of the senior citizens been victimized with that.
Yes.
So your background, the cloud picture, that in my book puts you above the cloud today. Because you all,
That's a good one.
you all bring excellent information and educational. All the three of you today made the day. And it's worth the time, even it would have been longer, but it is very productive under the leadership of Mrs. Baker McCormick, and I really appreciate today's meeting a lot. So thank you and job well done.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
And thank you again, Ms. Whitmore Davis, and you're doing a great job. So
Thank you. Thank you so
all right.
much. That means a lot.
And you have a good holiday weekend too.
Yes, all of you have a wonderful and safe holiday weekend.
Yes,
And
Keep the
everybody.
space.
Thank you.
Stay
All right.
above the cloud.
Yeah, and keep the space.
Madam Clerk?
E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Are there any other matters I'm not aware of? Any other matters? There are none. Next item, please.
Public comments.
Any public comments? Anyone out there that would like to make a comment? Everyone's unmuted, right?
Yep.
All right. Any public comments? I guess there's no public comments. We'll move on.
Adjournment.
Madam Clerk?
So move, Madam the Clerk. I'll
It's
take
been
the
moved
second
and-
place with Mrs. Scott.
Move and support it, and we're adjourned. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a good weekend
You
and a
too.
holiday. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. That was a good session.
Yep,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good.
All right.